Hey, folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you for joining me today. Our plans already in place for Kenny Omega to lose the Impact Wrestling World Championship. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was stated that Impact Wrestling has already planned who Kenny Omega will drop the Impact Wrestling World title to. This was planned even before Omega won the title. Dave Meltzer talking, they're all collaborating, especially with Omega. With Sammy Guevara, obviously it wasn't as collaborated because it wasn't in as high profile picture. But before Omega ever won the title, they had their battle plan all mapped out on who it's going to be. On what it's going to be, who's it going to be on what show, and when it's going to be, and when Impact can get their title back. That was all part of the deal, way ahead of time. We will just have to wait and see who will be the one to ultimately dethrone Kenny Omega as the Impact World Champion, as he's been booked as a dominant champion so far. So plans are in place. The plans are in place for him to lose the title. And who's it going to be? Is it going to be Sami Callihan at Slammiversary? I don't think so. I still think it's going to be Moose. I still think Moose is going to be the one. I think Moose, after Moose defeats Chris Sabin at Slammiversary and Kenny Omega defeats Sami Callihan, Moose is going to confront Kenny Omega again, and he's going to get him in some sort of match where nobody can interfere. And Moose will be the one to ultimately get the title back from Kenny Omega. That's the way I see it. I mean, plans have changed. I don't, I said that they do say that it was mapped out in the beginning. Maybe it was Moose all along, but maybe that plan was going to change because they weren't sure if Moose was going to come back to Impact Wrestling. So they had the finish where the Young Bucks interfered and helped Kenny Omega defeat Moose at Against All Odds, and now Slammiversary, it's Sami Callihan, but I don't think Sami Callihan is going to do it. I think it's going to be Moose. I think it's going to be, we're going to have like a steel cage match, or and the wrestlers are going to be barred from ringside or something like that. And Moose is going to be the one to finally get that Impact Wrestling World title around his waist, and he's going to be the one to ultimately dethrone Kenny Omega and take back the Impact Wrestling World Championship for Impact Wrestling. That's the way I see it, and I think it makes sense. I think because Sami Callihan winning the title to me, and I think to most fans, I think it's safe to say for most fans, it's not as big as if Moose is the one who gets the title. Sami Callihan had the title. Moose has never had the Impact Wrestling World title. He's always fell a little short, and I think it's time for him to hold that Impact Wrestling World Championship, and I think he's going to be the one to defeat Kenny Omega. I hopefully I get the pay-per-view after Slammiversary. I'm hoping Moose will defeat Kenny Omega and bring back the Impact Wrestling World Championship to Impact Wrestling. That said, when Kenny Omega loses the Impact Wrestling World title, what happens with the partnership between Impact Wrestling and AEW? I know I touched upon it on past podcasts, but what happens? What happens to the relationship? Does it end? I mean, is there a need for AEW to continue the partnership with Impact Wrestling? It's clearly benefiting Impact Wrestling more than it's benefiting AEW. And I mean, just look, it was all orchestrated by Don Callis and Kenny Omega. Don Callis was the executive vice president of Impact Wrestling, but the person that orchestrated this partnership, who planted the seeds to get this started, Don Callis, no longer with Impact Wrestling. He is now full-time AEW, no longer employed by Impact Wrestling. He's collecting a paycheck from Tony Khan. So he's gone. So what would be the benefits of AEW to continue this relationship with Impact Wrestling? The only bargaining chip, in my opinion, the only real bargaining chip that they have, Impact Wrestling has, are the Good Brothers. That's the only real point. I think those are the only two wrestlers that that AEW are really, really interested in, because they're on AEW every week, and Carl Anderson. I almost said Ken Anderson. I'm sorry. Carl Anderson. I don't want to confuse it too, but Carl Anderson said on his podcast recently that while he loves Impact Wrestling, he loves AEW. He says, I'll love Impact Wrestling forever, but I love AEW. I love their bosses. I love their boss. I love their people. And then he circled back and said, oh, I love Impact Wrestling's people too. But I really think that once their contract is up, the Good Brothers contract is up in 2022, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they are going to sign with the AEW. I don't think they're sticking around Impact Wrestling. I think they have I think it's better for them in AEW, a bigger promotion. All their friends are there. You know, granted, they're good friends with Scott D'Amore, but I really, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they'll be signing with AEW. When I talked about that yesterday, I don't want to go too deep into that now, but I think the partnership may be close to an end if and when Kenny Omega, well, not when, but not if, but when Kenny Omega drops the Impact Wrestling World Title. I don't see any reason for the partnership to continue. I mean, once Kenny Omega gets that title, does Kenny Omega really want to keep showing up on Impact Wrestling? Does Don Callis still want to keep showing up on Impact Wrestling? Does it make sense for them? I mean, like I said, the only bargaining chip they have right now are the Good Brothers, and that might keep their relationship going for a little longer, at least until the Good Brothers leave. And once the Good Brothers leave, you know, once the Good Brothers are gone from AEW, I'm sorry, from Impact Wrestling and over to AEW, there's absolutely no way that the relationship will continue, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I just don't see the partnership. Maybe we'll see a few talent exchanges, but I really think that once Kenny Omega drops the title, and I think he's going to hold it for a bit. As I think he's going to hold it for a bit. It's gonna be close. My feeling is he's going to hold it. And I'm just thinking of this now. He's going to hold it. Maybe they have him hold it a little longer as it gets closer to the Good Brothers when the contract is up. Then they could drop the title. He could drop the title, whether it be to Moose. I know I said maybe the next pay-per-view, but I think this might make a little more sense, especially if Impact Wrestling wants this partnership to play out a little longer. Maybe have Kenny Omega hold the title until it gets close to the Good Brothers contract to come up, and then have them drop the title. And then the Good Brothers would sign with AEW, and then the partnership could ultimately end there. But this is all speculation on my part. I'm not certain, but nonetheless, I think this partnership is like I said, it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. The AEW Impact Wrestling partnership is not going to last forever. Again, it's benefiting Impact Wrestling a lot more than it benefits AEW, in my opinion. And Impact Wrestling, as I stated many times, Impact Wrestling they need to start rebuilding. This partnership with the AEW was a perfect time for them to start rebuilding, and they have started, but they like with Steve Macklin has just come in. We've seen Rachel Ellering coming in, and I know they're going to be bringing in a few surprises as well on Slammiversary. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But they need to start getting younger. I really wish. And I don't want to go on an Impact Wrestling rant right now, but I really, really wish that they would have a show like AEW Dark or Future of Honor, something along those lines where we see young stars that they're developing. I mean, they had Jackson Stone, man. Jackson Stone won that the gut check, and they used him twice. It took like 8 months for them to feature him on Explosion. They used him twice, and then we never saw from him again. He had 2 really good matches. I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know what the deal is with Jackson Stone. And sooner or later, Jackson Stone is going to start showing up in AEW Dark, and that'll be the end of that. But they need to have a show like AEW Dark where they're developing young talent. I mean, look at MLW. They just brought in Lee Moriarty. There's no reason why Impact Wrestling doesn't have Lee Moriarty on their roster. You know, it gets a little frustrating, you know, with Impact Wrestling. They really should have started, you know, and this is my opinion. They really should have taken this relationship with AEW, you know, as a means of, okay, we got this now. Now let's start rebuilding for the future. Let's start building stars let's start building up stars that'll be the face of Impact Wrestling 2 or 3 years from now. That's what they should have done. But hey, I'm not Scott Demore, and I don't make the decisions there. I can just voice my opinion. So, but anyway, but as I mentioned, Slammiversary. As I mentioned, Slammiversary, Impact Wrestling is planning on multiple surprise debuts for Slammiversary. This is Ringside News. It says Impact Wrestling is promoting their Slammiversary event in a big way. The July 7th pay-per-view will mark the return of live fans to Impact Wrestling, which is awesome. They will also debut a couple of surprises, something the company has teased. And it says here Impact Wrestling sources say that at least two surprises are planned for the show, with outside names making their way into the company, including one already under contract elsewhere and one recent WWE release. So that's interesting. One already under contract elsewhere. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is somebody from AEW? Is there a contract coming due? Is that contract coming up? Is there someone in Ring of? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mickey James. Mickey James, because she's got a contract. I think it's a short term deal, but it's not an exclusive deal with the NWA. You know, and they were hinting Mickey James on the last episode of Impact Wrestling. That's it. It's Mickey James. Okay, so Mickey James will be. I figured it out. So Mickey James. It looks like it'll be Mickey James again. That's me taking a educated guess there, and it says one recent WWE release. So there are at least two surprises. It says it was also confirmed that the company is looking for a reinvigoration of their women's division, and a couple of great candidates were released by the WWE that could really help just do that for the Knockouts division. Mickey James is one. The Iconics, if they bring the Iconics in, the Inspiration. They bring in the Inspiration. That'll be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They would have a great feud with Fire and Flavor. So I can see the Inspiration, Mickey James coming in, maybe Chelsea Green. I'm thinking there's going to be more than two surprises. They're not naming names, but I like I said, I just took an educated guess on one being Mickey James. So I think it's safe to say that I'm right there, because when you think about who's under contract with another company that can wrestle for Impact Wrestling, I can't think of anybody in AEW. Definitely nobody in the WWE. New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't think anybody under contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling will be allowed to sign with Impact Wrestling. So that's why it's most likely Mickey James there. But I hope they bring in the Inspiration, aka the Iconics. That would be absolutely fantastic. Again, they would have a massive feud, a massively entertaining feud with Fire and Flavor over the Impact Wrestling Knockout Tag Team titles. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see that. There's other wrestlers out there. I would love to see Kalisto in Impact Wrestling. He would fit really nicely in the X division. So there's a lot of we're going to see some surprises. We're going to see some surprises July 17th at Slammiversary, and that's something to definitely look forward to. Okay, let's switch gears to New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Never Six Man Tag Team Championships are going to be on the line again at Kizuna Road on July 1st. The champions, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii. Excuse me. I got this. I don't know. I got like a little bit of a little scratch in my throat. So I apologize. It's maybe I'm talking too much, but anyway, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi are going to be defending the never openweight six-man tag team titles against Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan on July 1st as Kizuna Road. We'll be back as New Japan Pro Wrestling is back with more Kizuna Road shows. Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi just recently successfully defended their titles against Evil, Dick Togo, and Yujiro Takahashi. But now they're on July 1st. They have a huge challenge ahead of them, and it's going to be that's going to be one hell of a six-man tag team match for those never openweight titles. I'm thinking Nagata. Satoshi Kojima and Tenzan are going to win the never openweight six-man titles. But anyway, that's going to be just a tremendous match, and that takes place. I'm sorry, on July 2nd, July 1st. Actually, we have even something better on July 1st because all 6 wrestlers involved in that championship match are having singles matches against each other. So on July 1st, Tomohiro Ishii versus Yuji Nagata. That's going to be a sick match. You know, Nagata and Ishii got into it a few days ago after Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Goto successfully defended the never openweight 6-man titles, and Nagata, Kojima, and Tenzan came out, confronted the 3 of them, and Nagata just plastered Ishii and just knocked him right out. So that's going to be a tremendous match. Hiroki Goto against Satoshi Kojima. Oh my God, that's going to be crazy also. And Yoshihashi against Hiroshi Tenzan, which is not going to be such a crazy match. It'll be an okay match. You know, Yoshihashi should win that one, but not as excited for that one as I am for Ishii versus Nagata or Goto versus Kojima. And then on July 2nd, we have Kota Ibushi against Yota Tsuji, and then Shingo Takagi against Yuya Uemura as the 2 young lions continue to run their gauntlet. And I think this is the final matches for them in the gauntlet. And Kota Ibushi against Yota Tsuji is going to be absolutely nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. And Shingo Takagi, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. It's not a title match, but against Yuya Uemura, I'm thrilled to see. I'm absolutely psyched and thrilled to see what Yuya Uemura can do against Shingo Takagi. Again, the Young Lions are not going to win at all. Either of these matches, but they're really being tested, and I think they're passing the test, and I really expect either one or both of them to go on excursion very soon, especially when the gauntlet is done. I expect, like I said, one or two, both of them to go on excursion because they're ready. They are ready. They are so talented. Uemura and Tsuji are so freaking talented. They are the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I can't wait. I'm going to be on vacation for this, so I'm going to be up early watching, and I can't wait for these 2 shows. July 1st. Also on July 1st, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Duki versus Taji Ishimori, El Phantasmo, and Jado. And July 2nd, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, Bushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Taiji, and Duki. Then El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Minoru Suzuki against Taji Ishimori, El Phantasmo, and Jado. So 2 really good shows coming up July 1st, July 2nd. New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I can't wait for both of them. They're both going to be absolutely fantastic. So psyched. Absolutely love my New Japan Pro Wrestling. And last but not least, I want to touch on this. The WWE is having trouble lately. WWE, they're not using their talent properly. They're releasing wrestlers that they shouldn't release. You know, Aleister Black, one example, one of many examples. They're not pushing anyone. People that do, I should say, talented that do well in NXT come up and they kind of just fizzle out and disappear. They're not pushed at all on the main roster. Storylines are not so great. People, the whole zombie thing was just a travesty. They don't have compelling storylines anymore. And people are complaining. People are complaining about the product. A lot of people, more and more people are turning their backs on the WWE, saying, "I've had it. I've had enough. This is garbage. I don't want to watch this anymore." And the WWE, what do? How are they decide that we need to bring the people back. We need to give them what they want. So we need to buckle down. And people are leaving in droves. And what can we do? And so what did they do? The WWE hired a new Raw writer who admits she knows absolutely nothing about professional wrestling. She knows nothing about professional wrestling. But the WWE said, all right, hey, it's not knowing something about pro wrestling is not a prerequisite to be a writer on the Raw team. To be a writer on the Raw team, to know anything about pro wrestling, it's not a prerequisite. It's not important. It's not important. This lady that was hired, her name is Kenise Mobley. I hope I pronounced it right. She said that the WWE didn't even ask her if she knew anything about pro wrestling. And she said she couldn't even recall the name of Bobby Lashley. Yet the WWE decided, you know what? I think this will work. I think we should give her a job. I think we should give her a job. She knows nothing. Well, I mean, what are they doing? She knows nothing about professional wrestling. She's a film production. I saw what I think she's a stand-up comedian. And what else does she do here? I'm not sure. Oh, she has a background. I'm sorry. She has a background in film production and comedy writing. And WWE is like, that's perfect. That's perfect for professional wrestling. Come on in and write for us. You have a background in comedy writing. Great. So, well, we have Nikki Cross doing the whole superhero thing. So maybe she could write a couple of funny bits for the new Nikki Cross character. Maybe we'll get some cute funny bits for that. Maybe the zombies will come back. Maybe we'll have dancing zombies, and they'll be in and they'll tap dancing zombies. Maybe she could write a little a sketch around this. What are they doing? I think if you want to write for a pro wrestling team, I think if you want to write for the major pro wrestling company in the world, that you should have a little bit of pro wrestling knowledge. It's like hiring somebody in construction who gets angry very easily as a comedy writer, as a writer for the Tonight Show. I have experience. I have experience in jackhammering concrete. Maybe I could go apply and be a comedy writer for the Conan O'Brien show. Maybe I'll get hired. Maybe I can show up to the interview and show off my jackhammering skills and show how everybody I can hammer a nail into a wall. Maybe that'll get me a job with Conan O'Brien or with Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show. Maybe that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And she says she wants to learn. She wants to learn about professional. Oh, good. So let's hire somebody, bring her on the team, bring her on our number one, which was supposed to be our number one rated show. We'll bring her in, and we'll give her a learning curve. There'll be a learning curve. Maybe she could watch a few matches. Maybe we'll show her a couple of comedy bits that we did over the years. Maybe we'll show her a few gobbledygooker bits. Maybe we could relive. Maybe with her expert comedy writing, we could relive the gobbledygooker moments. We could bring that back. We could bring that into the 2021 universe. Bring back the gobbledygooker, and by golly, damn it, she could write the script. She could write that script. She could write the script for the gobbledygooker. Let's do it. Bring her in. And Vince McMahon's like, God damn it, we have to. Well, you have to buckle down. You have to make them laugh. We're gonna write a whole. We're gonna do the whole year's worth of gobbledygooker sketches, and you're gonna be the head writer for them because you have comedy writer experience. Film production. Bring her in. What does she know about wrestling? No, who cares? Bring her in. Gobbledygooker. Oh man, I don't understand it. I don't understand that at all. Bringing in somebody that doesn't have any experience or knows nothing about pro wrestling. But hey, all I can say is good luck. Good luck to her. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to me today I'm Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. See, if she was writing for me, I would have gotten that right. Anyway, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.